Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 14 of Dragon Keepers. Today's title is Ascent, but we are only hoping for it, we're not certain of it. Today I have playing with me Alora.
Hi, I'm Alora. I'm playing Natani, the human fighter.
I have Josh. I have Josh.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not to spit the Cheerios out or to quickly try to eat them. Hi, I'm Josh. I will be playing Patrick, the Forest Gnome Wildfire Druid.
I have Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm playing Twiggy, the halfling Way of Mercy monk.
I have Jay.
Hey, I'm Jay, and I'm playing Arya, the half-elf arcane trickster.
And I have Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here. I'm going to be playing Emil, Celestial Warlock.
Cool, and we are level 6. I was just double checking. The gift just decided to revert back. Fear not, we are still level 6. When we left off last episode, you guys had come across back from Kelsingra to the non-elderling ruined village. You don't have a name for it yet, but the ruins are made of genuine stone, not black and silver stone. There are no memories on this side of the river, no whispers. And it is here that you've been making camp, hunting for food, getting food ready for your dragons, and just generally, keeping up appearances while the rest of the group crossed over. When they came back, Natani was woken up very late at night by one of the ginger twins. I can never remember which. Who's chasing you down? Is it Case? I think it is. Case took you into Kelsingra to show you a statue of yourself. The rest of you actually got a night's sleep, and the following morning, the other group are going back over first. And then it will be your turn in the afternoon. When you wake up in the morning, there is a sort of light bit of thunder going on and a lot of rain. And it is sort of, it is wet, and you can smell that sort of wet grass smell going on. The river is quite high up, and the group have already crossed early in the morning. Most of you will be awoken by the demands of hungry and frustrated and irritated dragons who are tired of the wet and want to get to Kelsingra. Twiggy, you've been doing some flight lessons with Balapar, or at least attempting.
Yes, trying my best.
How do we think that's going? What form do those lessons take?
I mean, they look like, exercises. So Twiggy is basically going through some wing yoga, getting Balapar to really stretch those bad boys out and just get them used to flapping. And then a lot of running and jumping and seeing how much air we can possibly get.
Okay, I like the wing yoga. I think that's a very excitable. So, in the morning, you can get that wing yoga out the way, and then Balapar will eat his share of what appears to be a fattened bullock. So they're eating very well up here, these animals. Balapar has dragged this in sort of from quite far away. With quite a lot of discipline to eat only half of it and then eat the other half the following day. Dragons don't normally do that, but Balapar is determined that today is going to be the day that he flies. So
okay,
a little way down the river, there is a sort of long, muddy slope that ends in a sort of hill, and that hill cuts off at the riverbank. And then on the other side of the river, it's sort of almost even, whereas a lot of the other time, the other side is higher.
Oh gosh.
And just to remind you, the gap is sort of 140 feet. So you
Okay.
you ain't crossing it in a jump. It's fly on nothing. And Balapar is sort of post yoga and food. Balapar brings you down there to sort of look down the slope. And do you think that a running leap is the way to get going?
Yes, absolutely. You gotta get as much speed as possible before you start, I think. And once your body's already flying, it'll just come so natural. Twiggy is just talking confidently about something she knows nothing about.
And as she's saying this, and it's just you and Bad up on the hill, you suddenly hear these sort of footsteps. And then this orange dragon comes into view and charges past. This is
God.
Dortian. This is Case's dragon. And it's quite a lot larger than Badaper, and it charges past and then half slides, half runs down the hill. And as it gets to the bottom of the hill, it sort of runs up the ramp, and you see these wings stretch, and they're big wings, but you notice they're thin membranes. And they flap, and they flap, and the dragon crashes into the river. Hard. It doesn't get flight at all. And you hear sort of running behind, no! You're not ready! You're not ready! Oh my god!
Okay.
And then you just see Case sort of crestfallen, just staring at the river.
Oh my.
There is no
God.
sign of Dortian at all. This river is very fast flowing. If you remember, even the boat was having a hard time staying in place while anchored.
Okay.
Just a heads up to the rest of you. You're down at camp and you've just heard a massive crash into the river not that far from you. And then silence after that.
Okay. I guess I would... Oh gosh. I would probably start running that way, where Dortian just fell into the river, to see if I can spot him.
Bad episode of good idea, I'm not ready either. And runs off.
No, we almost found the big day
well away from the hill, having none of that. Yeah, you sort of run down to the river. There is no sign of Dortian. Case sort of slowly follows you behind him.
God.
He's okay, but he's a long way away.
He got swept away?
He's got to shore, but I think it's quite far away. His thoughts are distant.
Do you know... You have an idea where? I'll go with you. Maybe we can check on him at least.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll go. Let's go.
The rest of you. We've been up a little while this morning. I would imagine Arya got up quite early to provide food. And maybe perhaps even ate with Sylvan Jurt before they crossed the river. Emily, you an elf? Do you get the elven sleepy thing?
I don't think half elves do.
You're a half elf? No, okay, cool. No, I was asking if you were an elf. No. Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, so Emily's still in his tent as per usual. Patrick and Natani, you would also sort of just about be waking up at this point. Hungry dragons are rising, sort of awaking you, nuzzling about, or you can even just wake up to their thoughts of searching for food. Specifically, Azanth is quite far off. What are people doing?
I will, other than encouraging Azanth to try to chase while using his wings as much as possible to propel himself, I will then just sort of help out around, because we're trying to rebuild this town-ish, right?
Well, I guess you're making long-term temporary shelter. So Carson's directions were to sort of, and mostly Hennessy is overseeing this as well, the sort of vice captain of the boat, to sort of use the logs and lumber to build sort of almost like bus shelters, like L shelters, and then work from there to have the tents under them, and after that you can start fleshing them out into buildings, etc. You notice there's a very swanky looking 3-walled canvas-fronted thing that Cedric arose from this morning, that Carson seems to have built. In your mind...
Favoritism?
100%. It is also Carson's bed, so, he did make it for himself. In your head, when you sort of encourage Azanth to flap his wings as he searches for food, you will note his very grumpy reports back of Hebe hunting prey that he's hunting, but from the sky.
Wow.
Which is quite frustrating, and also driving lots of other prey away.
You're not gonna let her beat you like that, are you?
I'm not really sure I have all that much choice.
You always have a choice.
I'll keep going. And it's sort of again, you see him sort of running and flapping his wings, and then you see two fairly beautiful, one silver, one amethyst dragons, sort of charging across. One with half a deer in its mouth, and the other one sort of chasing after what appears to be some sort of very light-footed animal, a bit resemblant of an antelope, but a little more flat-footed. You know this to be Harmony and Ranculos. And yeah, again, sort of the prey that Ascent was just about coming up on suddenly sort of veers off and runs away from them. And you can sense he's very frustrated, but he just keeps kind of trotting further and further away from the camp in search of food.
Yeah, we'll just get to work helping with the building of all the shelters.
Yep, you put your strong back into it, and before you know it, it's almost lunchtime. Patrick, what are you doing?
I'm so glad you asked. I will be
glad I
talking.
asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will be talking to the guy who before, like, helped me figure out what a giant seahorse looks like, to see if there's any other kind of water-based animals that he knows of.
Okay.
And
and
then
a second while I try and work out who that was. Oh, it's Swaj. Cool. Yeah, so Swaj used to be a sailor on a seafaring ship before he sailed with the Tama. So that's how he's got some memories of this. He describes to you various fish this side of length. He tells you about great sea serpents. Out of your grasp. A giant shark. CR4.
Yes. Yes.
No. CR4.
But I wanna turn into a smaller, into a different kind of shark.
Oh, okay.
But a shark nonetheless.
Okay.
It's called a reef shark. It's a medium
Oh, that's what I was
beast. And
Well known for its great tolerance of freshwater rivers. Carry on.
Excuse you. Reef sharks inhabit shallow waters and coral reefs. So rivers are shallow waters. Water's water, anyways.
I think it's the
It doesn't say that it doesn't like
matters,
rivers.
For the next month,
doesn't
I am
say
giving
it
you
doesn't-
only seawater to drink, and just telling you
says that
water's
it
water.
says there's nothing that it says that it doesn't like regular non-ocean water. It says the shark can breathe
I think the
only
word
underwater.
shark is meant to imply that. But whatever.
No, I don't think so. Otherwise, it would say.
Okay.
Just become a river dolphin.
Anyways,
River dolphin.
my
Oh,
my
I
whole
love
thing.
that.
My whole thing for this would be to scoop up a shit ton of fish in my jaws to then give to Sestigan. And if you was wondering what Patrick as a shark looks like, have no fear, a picture is here.
Oh, thank God.
Oh.
He's so cute.
Oh dear. Where
Those
have I
big
put,
shining
where
eyes.
did I put Patrick as bird? I put it here. Okay, let's have Patrick as shark.
I like the seagulls.
Amazing.
That's a fun touch.
Yes.
Yes. That's because he cast speak with animals before he turned into a...
Yeah, I was like, get ready for the picture, guys. Yes, there he is. Yeah, so the plan is to scoop up a shit ton of fish in my mouth to then give to Sestigan.
I love that.
That's
You
the
want the baby
idea.
bird as dragon.
Yes, exactly.
Give me a perception check as shark.
As shark. But it's actually pretty good. It's a
Call
plus
that
2.
your hunting check. Sorry, we're meant to be on the
It's still your perception if it's wild shape.
Oh, is
no,
it?
no, I want the shark's perception check to give it a sort of... It's a hunting check,
Ooh,
if you
I love
will.
that.
It's,
Well, okay.
yeah. Because otherwise it's just
That's
a
a
perception check.
19.
Yeah, cool. You do okay, but you do struggle to resist the urge to eat some of them.
Of course, that is just natural.
Okay, but eventually you sort of... What do you do with these? Just sort of throw them out the water?
Yeah, so I fly out of the window and like flop on the side, and then
Fly out of
just
the window? What
spit
window?
them out. What? I didn't say window. I said fly out
sorry.
on the side.
You definitely said fly out of the
You
window.
definitely said
You
window.
definitely said
No, I
fly out the
didn't.
window.
I will not be.
I'm not gaslighting you. You're flying out
Yeah,
the window.
I will
We
not
all-
be gaslit
No,
on
you're not
this
gonna gaslight us
campaign
like this.
on this day. No,
Okay,
I
so-
will just like launch myself out on the side, on the shore or whatever, and like flop around a bit, and then just spit them out.
Give me an athletics check.
As me or as the shark?
That's the shark. You do not maintain physical properties while in shark form.
That's fine, because shark has better than me.
I should hope so.
That's a 15.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. Your shark does make it about 4.5 inches out of the water. It looks great. You sort of... and one fish sort of flops out your mouth onto the bank. And Sestican just sort of looks over at this one fish. And it's just like, is that it?
Well, I have to
no.
spit the rest out.
Okay. You sort of shuffle around in this fast-paced current that's sort of going past, and every now and again there's just a fish on the side. Sestican sort of walking, plonking along the edge of the river. I'll have that one.
Well,
right.
can I grab a few at a
I'll have that.
time?
You've got tons in your mouth, but you're moving. If
Ow.
you're moving in a fast-moving river, and you're trying to get up the riverbank to deliver a fish. So every now and again you get one over the edge. The rest are just falling back in. So Sestican's just taking a very long, slow plod along the river, eating one fish at a time, and then every now and again, sort of just, oh, there's another fish, and then suddenly Dortian just crashes into the water, comes
You found
flying past. No, we're going sort of. This is like initiative. It's all happening at the same time, but you're taking turns.
Right.
So the same
very
time
nice.
that he crashed, yes, you see Dortian just crash into the river. You see this orange dragon tumbling under the water, sort of spinning round, somersaulting, hits the bank with a crunch. His wings back behind his head, and he's
He's
definitely
scaring
broken.
the fish.
You forget about the fish. Sestican forgets about the fish. Even the fish forget about the fish. And the dragon just tumbles down the river. He is gone out of your sight so fast. Are you going to chase him as a shark?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so what you will see when you get down to the river, guys, is just a fin and a tuft of ginger hair.
yeah,
just
yeah.
foo down down the river.
No.
And all you hear is like there's a few bubbles that come to the surface that kind of sound like it's saying dun 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 dun.
Arya, what did you do with your morning? I hope it
well-
wasn't that.
No, well,
Arya
I had to
was also
spend
there.
a good amount, like, cooking and all that. Once the others had left, then it's just kind of me doing a bit more work. So it was that mostly, making sure everyone's fed.
Yeah, so they left at like 7:30, 7:45, and then the rest of them will sort of arrive somewhere between 8 and 9, and you can make sure there's food ready for those people who get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I am cooking, I'm just kind of recalling everything from yesterday. And maybe I'm trying out some new recipes.
Yeah, 100%. You remember the way in which Zoya. You remember the way in which Zoya turned nope, wrong person. Zoya's the chef, not the baker. You remember, the different seasonings that Zoya would add to the stew, to like a proper breakfast porridge, perhaps. You do know that you're missing a few things, like good butter, but you managed to work with what you've got and sort of begin to remember different combinations that perhaps you didn't think of before, or perhaps were just experienced in a different way. Food was a lot spicier back then. And sometimes a little sweeter. You didn't get as much just plain savoury food, perhaps due to less flour, as there were no sort of big grindstone mills, or the most mills were hand used. So the amount of flour available is a lot lower. Obviously, she was married to a baker, so there is still some stuff, but even like mass farming of grain and stuff, which you would be used to back at home, it's not something that she would have experienced in her lifetime. So just different ways of making the ingredients go round. And after you've made some thoroughly great breakfast, it's sort of 9:15, you just get these sort of flitting happy images from Harmony of different hunting. They spent quite a long time chasing what appears to be a fox of some sort, perhaps a little larger. not particularly filling prey, but quite fun to chase. They catch a couple of rabbits and throw them at each other. And after a while, they came upon these 3 or 4 antelope deer, like a cross between an antelope and a deer, basically a deer but very fast and jumpy. They spent quite a lot of time hunting them, and then they saw a large fattened cow and they began to chase that, and that's when they sort of disrupt poor Ascent's hunting. Do you make mention of anything to Harmony, or do you just leave her to her fun?
I just leave her to have fun.
Okay. When she is finally sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock, finally feeling sated, she will inform you that she is returning to the camp for grooming.
Oh, all right. I'll meet you.
And Emil, out of your tent for once in the morning. What are you doing post breakfast?
Yeah, so people have been looking to set up a more permanent camp, right?
Yep. I would call
So,
it
are we
long-term
looking at-
temporary. You're not building brick buildings. You're sort of building very sturdy lean-tos and tent shelters and shack buildings.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thought.
Mhm.
So I'd definitely help to set some of them up. Is there any sort of high up supports that are needed? Wow.
Sorry, Jay's just rinsing you in Roll20 chat, and I'm really struggling to stay on focus. Are there any sort of high up?
Are there any sort of high up supports, like particularly tall wooden posts that are being used to set up larger, taller tents? You know, more like marquee tent type.
At the
things?
moment, you haven't got much in the way of larger lumber. Everything's sort of
Right.
about 5 to 6 foot tall. There are some trees very far to the south that you've seen Ranculos hunting through, that you could perhaps go on a long-term journey to get at some point. But at the moment, everything's sort of very much single-story, low-hanging, because there's not many trees around here, and the trees are quite, that you do find are quite brackish and short, almost like fir trees, but just sort of 5 to 7 foot fir trees, like it's Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'll for now spend the time helping get the lean-tos and everything.
Yep.
And yeah, just see what I can do, really.
Okay. You're working alongside Natani and Tats under the sort of subtle direction of Davy, who doesn't seem to know a huge amount but has seen his uncle do this before. When you all hear this crash of Dortian crashing down into the... Or when you hear Case sort of shout out, "Oh my god, no! You're not ready! You're not ready! No!" Oh no! Up the top, and then you can all sort of see Twiggy running down, and Balapa shortly behind, and then a little way back, Case making his way down, and you can all go down to the river and wander down the river in search of a dragon. In search of a dragon. As you maneuver your way further down to our incredibly straight river, you will... I just have no better pictures right now. You will eventually come upon a orange dragon tumbled onto one bank. You see that he's sort of laying on one side and one wing is bent backwards. He looks very, very unwell. He's definitely conscious but asleep. And as soon as he gets there, Case just sort of throws himself over Dortian and begins to sort of like put his shoulder into Dortian and sob.
Oh gosh. I will come up. I'm not going to touch the dragon at all, but I just want to look it over and see if I see anything that I could maybe tell Case to do. I feel like dragons don't like anyone other than their keeper touching them, so I don't think Twiggy would try to do anything. But if I can just look and take a look at his wound, I guess, or his injury.
Yep. As Arya arrives, you may choose between a medicine or nature check. And I don't mind, one of you can do it and the other one can help. So whoever you want to... Is one of you proficient in either of those skills?
I'm proficient in both.
Oh. Okay,
Neither.
so you can choose medicine or nature and make the roll at advantage, as Arya will help you. Not because Arya is a specialist in any of this, but because of where Arya was yesterday.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. They are the same for me, so let's say this is medicine.
Okay. That would make more sense.
That is a 19.
Great. So you immediately recognize that the wing is broken. You've seen arms that are broken. This is definitely a broken bone. It's at the wrong angle. It doesn't make any sense what it's doing. And you notice that the membrane of the wing is quite thin and not very, it's not very muscular. Arya, you will be able to point out that back in the day they would reset the bone using these sort of heavy, like a long strip of leather that you'd fold around twice and then brace and pull into line with a splint, usually a piece of timber or even a bar of metal in certain situations. You actually watched a dragon wing being reset in your in one of your memories. Was that by Bode,
Fantastic.
I think? Was that Bode and his friend, or was that the other guy? Yes, so it was Kimura and Bode were the couple. And as you sort of see Kay sort of lying there, Twiggy, you'd know that if this wing isn't reset, it won't heal on its own.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I will just, very slowly and gently just kind of, put a hand on Case just to, announce my presence without, sneaking on him. But, yeah, I will just, say that kind of low. If we don't tend to it, it won't heal correctly. I don't want to do anything that you...
Dortian says you're right.
Okay.
Do you know how to do that?
Not on a dragon, but I
know, kind of.
Arya, have you had to help out Harmony before?
Well, no. When we were in the city yesterday, some of the memories that I learned of was, there was the healing center essentially, and I
Perfect.
witnessed actually how to the scenario that with realigning a bone. I'm not
Great.
probably the best with it, but I could.
I bet you have
Friendly
steady
guy.
hands.
It
If
sort of looks down and... Could we... Does it need to be done now?
Yes.
Okay. What do we need? And you'll be able to tell him that you need a very sturdy timber, or even, you wouldn't have something metal of the right shape like they used in the memory. And Davy will immediately charge off to go and get that.
perfect.
And grab the axe, and he'll tell you that he'll bring it. You need some leather bindings, which you know are back in the boat's healing kit. Any fast runners want to offer to go and get that?
Twiggy was already prepared.
Twiggy.
but-
Yeah. Twiggy
I was
sort of
gonna just do whatever
just
Arya
runs
said.
off, and then as you're leaving, as Emil, you go to leave, Arya sort of can just tell you maybe some salves and some of the other healing equipment might be helpful. So the two of you can sort of whoom off. Arya, Twiggy, you're sprinting there, and about 3/4 of the way there, you just see Emil fly past.
Oh, rude.
And Amel can grab
shake
the whole
my
healer's
fist up
kit,
at him.
and then you can go and speak to Swaj and get thick bindings. Elise will hear the panic and offer to come with, and she'll sort of put on her sturdiest boots and come running along. She's read something about this once upon a time, and will be absolutely no use whatsoever.
She can learn from
She
watching.
knows the
Yeah.
theory.
No, not really.
No.
She read something about it, but it didn't give any details that were actually helpful in any way. You will swiftly realize, Twiggy and Arya both, that neither one of you is strong enough to be able to reset a dragon bone.
Say.
And in fact, none of you are. Not even
my
close.
God.
Natani included.
I was just looking
because
at Natali
usually they would use
Not
3
even a
or 4
shark?
people. No.
Right. I'm
Usually
just
they
trying
would.
to help.
You just see a sort of ginger-haired shark poke its head up from the water and sort of look over and, oh dear, what a shame. You can come to the shore, your magic might be quite useful. But what you would realise, Arya, from the memory, is that 3 or 4 people would brace against and then use a crank wheel to sort of pull the bone into place.
Oh, wow.
Dragon bones are, this thick. You're trying to bend a tree. But with 3 or 4 of you in place, Balapa will sort of nudge Twiggy and will help.
That would be much appreciated, Balapur. Thank you.
Ascent sort of
Do you-
says into your mind, Natani, that it's not natural for dragons to aid each other in such menial tasks. But sense that Balapa is feeling quite unpride. He's feeling his pride a bit hit by what he's doing, but has decided it's for the good of the pack, so to speak. So it is willing to allow his pride to be smeeched.
That's
wow.
right.
Smeeched.
Smeech.
I don't know what that means,
I
but I get your feeling.
It's almost like if you went to say besmirched and then changed your
I
fucking
did.
mind.
I did. I had smeared and besmirched, and I just went for smeeched.
Smeech.
Fuck it. Well, pride smeeched. Balapa will try to step into place. I need 2 checks. I need a history check from our good friend Arya, and a medicine check from Twiggy, please.
Right on. Nice. Yeah, that's a 23.
Okay, 23 on the medicine.
History.
18 on history, great. Yeah, so just as Twiggy's sort of putting the bindings in the right place, you realise that they're in the right place for a human. But because the dragon's wing sort of really bends outwards, you're actually going to have to pull them a lot lower, and you're able to correct that. Bringing the average rolls to sort of a 20, which is what was needed. Once it's in place and braced, you can hand the leather bindings to Balapa, who will take them in his mouth very strongly and sort of begin to very, very sturdily just yank, and you actually all hear this noise of 2 bones basically scratch, sort of moving against each other. And then there's this sort of click, and you see, I mean, all of you see the dragon just sort of go limp. And it's not the limpness of unconscious, it is just relief. The pain stopping suddenly, and Case just sort of looks over and grabs your hand, Twiggy, and thank you so much, and then grabs Arya's hand, and you were amazing, thank you so much.
No.
He's gonna fly again.
It was nothing. Yes, he will.
And Balapa sort of walks off immediately, and then in your head, as he's walking away, you just hear, not that he flew in the first place.
Come on. I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Rightly so.
Wow. Is he like capable, Dortian? Is he like capable of walking
He will
back?
be. When he
Okay,
wants
so
to.
he's chilling.
Right now, he's going to sleep it off, which is the best room. As you are in the water, Patrick, you notice a very large-ish, I suppose maybe not very large compared to you, but a fairly large creature in the water. At first it just looks like 2 eyes in the riverbed. And then you just see this sort of flapping motion. A little like a manta ray, like a big, flat fish. Just raise its eyes and look up at you. And it just stares straight at you. This would be a great meal for a dragon. Or a good friend.
Yeah, I'll swim down to it. Let's pretend that I can speak with animals before.
No. That was like 35 minutes ago. It's a 10-minute spell.
Damn it.
You can attempt to communicate with body language.
Well, I have speak with small beasts. You can communicate simple ideas with small or smaller beasts. I don't know how big this is.
It's sort of about 15 foot wide.
So like small, right?
That's pretty.
Twice the length of a horse.
Yeah.
Hey there, little
Small
guy.
is subjective.
No.
Small is subjective anyway. Small to
not
who?
small. I will say you can choose between getting out the water or wild shaping back into Patrick form and then casting Speak with Animals and having a chat with this creature, or you
I
can
will do that.
attempt to kill it
Yeah,
to bring
I'll
it to
do that.
Sestican.
I'll get out, transform, first level spell slot, use my second wild shape to go back into the shark just in case I do need to destroy it.
We're doing Speak with Animals as Shark again, are we?
Yeah, we sure are.
And why not?
How else am I gonna? I can't. I'm not.
I did
I'm
say
not
you
a
could
good
do it
swimmer.
as Patrick. You could just cast
Yeah, but
water
the current's
breathing,
like
and then
50 miles an hour. I can't stay in there.
better hold on to a manta ray. Yes, okay. You turn into a shark on your way down. And the manta ray
Oh, hey,
sort of looks up
Patrick.
at you and
no.
back again.
Hello. What's your name?
You just hear Sestican's voice break into your brain. Why are we talking to the food?
I will say back to him in my head, we aren't talking, it is I.
Patrick, you've got to stop befriending things that could make a great meal.
Sestican, those are things we
My
speak,
name's
but
Crump.
do not say.
Ooh.
Hello, Mr. Crump. What are you? I've never seen you before.
I am what I am. I am Crump.
You're a Crump? Or your name is Crump?
I am Crump.
Hello, Crump. I'm gonna like circle around him to see his full body. Does he
Hello,
look fully like
strange-smelling
a
fish.
what strange smelling fish? What?
You're a strange-smelling fish. That's what he
Oh,
called you.
I am. A shark? No, that sounds stupid. I'm not gonna.
A shark smelly? No.
Sharks
No.
are fish.
Thank you.
Did you say they are or they are not?
They are.
Good, I was going to say, yes, they are.
Everything that lives in the ocean is a fish. I just
No,
wanted to
you're
double
right.
check.
You're right. Whales aren't fish. Sharks are.
No, dolphins aren't either.
No, but I'd like to think Patrick at least smells of seafood and Old Spice.
No, he smells of magic is the problem.
Yes. I'll just say. So what? So as I circle this creature, does it just look like a?
It looks like a carpet.
Okay.
That's what I've got for you. And
yeah,
it doesn't move at all. It just follows you round with its eyes as you circle it.
Yeah. As I circle, I'll just say, "What do I smell like, Mr. Calf?"
Like you don't belong. It was cramp, not calf.
Oh, cramp. I'm sorry. Shot. Cramp.
Yeah, cramp.
Cramp. I'm sorry, Cramp. I'm only here to visit.
Lucky me. You scared all
What
the
have
prey
you
away.
been? What have you been? Do you eat other fish?
Yes.
I see.
When other people aren't interrupting them and making them.
Oh, I'm
First
sorry.
there was the tumbling orange creature, and now there's you.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure you don't either.
What have you been doing today?
Hunting unsuccessfully. How much longer
I'm
will this
sorry.
pointless conversation continue? At which point you can
I'll-
inform him 7 minutes and 42 seconds.
Okay, I'll open up my
'Cause
mouth.
that's how
wide.
long
Is
is
there
left
any-
on your spell.
Is there any remainder fish inside?
No.
Oh wow.
No. You have wild shaped to a human and back
wild-shaped
since then.
Did you still have the fish in your human mouth?
There's a halfling with like 6 or 7 fish in his face. Good lord.
No
Okay,
one
fine.
is questioning this.
Then I'll just say I can help you, Mr. Crump.
I think you've done enough of that.
But I never started.
Exactly.
So let me. I understand that I took your fish. So let me make it up to you by helping.
What manner would this help take? Does it involve you leaving?
Well, it depends on what kind of help you want, Mr. Crump.
The kind that involves you leaving.
Well, what kind of help is that, Mr. Crump?
Perhaps you could fetch me a fish from the sea.
Ooh.
I don't know what a sea is.
It's the end of the river in that direction. He sort of finally lifts up his face and nods in the downstream. The same way the orange tumbling creature went.
But that's not. You're mean, Mr. Crump.
Your
I
incessant
kinda-
prattling has left me hungry.
Yeah. Laura.
Oh, don't! Can you not
Oh, that's
Grinch
great.
my cramp,
That
please?
is great.
I like Cramp
I
how
just
he
kind
is.
of-
He doesn't need to be a Grinch.
I just kind of very sad and very sulky, like head down,
How does a sad shark look?
swim away.
Aw.
He's just kind of slightly curled up like a shrimp. as he,
Sestican
like-
sort of cut in your mind. He was mean to you, so now you're abandoning the lunch.
And then, as I remember, I just say, "Oh yeah, sorry," and then a swift predatory turn. I turn on my fin and go straight. Because if I was
Sorry,
a
was it
person, I would
switched
spin
off
on my
until
heel.
now? Oh, I
I would
see.
spin on my heel, but yeah.
I thought you
I'm
meant like
gonna-
you switch on your fin, like
No.
like it's automatic.
No, God, no. I can't spin. I can't spin on a heel, so I'll
Been on a fin.
Honestly,
spin on
if
a
I
fin.
ever need a Laura to come back to a Friday table, I'll just tell her you're playing a druid. This is fun. High-level
I'll-
entertainment.
I'll spin on a fin and rush this fucker.
Make an attack roll.
So now we got Patrick looking like an electric toothbrush in the water, just waves rippling out on the surface.
I just imagine myself and Twiggy standing on the shore looking down, like, what is going on down there?
We saw
For a long
Patrick-
time, the shark was nose down, having a conversation with the manta ray, and all of a sudden it went off and then turned really quickly. Its fin went, and it made an attack. What did it get in its attack roll?
A 21.
A 21, yeah, that hits. And as you snatch in, give me damage.
Nice, Max.
Wow.
Okay. Fuck me, that's awful. This is going to be a longer fight than I thought.
Well, I'm only a half monster. CR. I'm not made to be like very
Okay,
strong.
make me an athletics check.
Oh wow.
That's the 14.
Okay. As you bite into this creature, it turns up and engulfs you and begins to seize you and grip you. As it grapples you and rolls you around. And it's almost strangling you. You are restrained. Make me another attack with disadvantage.
Okay.
He looks fine, right?
If you need help, just
As
say
far as you
something,
guys are
Patrick.
aware, he's just changing into a slightly cooler version of a shark
Yeah.
that has a flat thing around it.
He does this all the time.
A 16 to hit.
Yeah, still hits. Give me another damage roll.
Ah, that was awful.
Oh.
Lordy lord, I'm beginning to regret this manta ray having 46 hit points.
Oh, we're gonna be here the rest of my life.
What do you think I was gonna do to it? I can't wild shape into
This
strong
is
things.
like a 3d8. It is a 1d10.
What?
I just
can't
thought that
turn into
that's what I
anything
was
that does
expecting
that.
from the shark.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's a reef shark.
Yeah. Okay.
Poor thing.
Yeah, the creature sort of tussles with you for a while. And guys, as you're watching, anybody want to poke it with a stick? Or a sword? Or a crossbow bolt?
No,
Do they,
I
like,
don't,
fight
I don't
their way
want
up to
help.
the surface
I'm
a
just
bit?
kind of
Can we actually
watching.
see them?
Okay. As they all watch on, we will assume, considering that it's only damage... How much hit points do you have as a reef shark?
A 22.
Okay, because it's only got a d4 of damage, plus 0.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
It'll be
it
long,
will
but
lose
I'll
the
win.
fight eventually. Yes. So as it sort of grapples you and strangles you and attempts to sort of squeeze you to death, effectively bludgeoning you in, you can eventually bite it down and kill it. And as the blood is going through the water, you can sense Sestican right by the edge, his head leaning right over, getting so excited about this large meal you're about to deliver. Go ahead and give me your athletics check as you attempt to bring this creature off of the floor of the river, up through the current, and to Sestican's waiting mouth.
Well, I don't know if I would. I mean, this is a big creature. I think, like, the blood would, like, go into my nose and my eyes would dilate and I'd be like the shark from Finding
Oh,
Nemo.
when he starts
no.
eating it.
He's
Oh,
getting
Sestican's
frenzied.
gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Can I roll to see if I can keep
You
my
can roll me a
Don't do it.
charisma save, as Sestican
Sure.
will tell you it is not your food.
no.
You promised it to me.
Uh-oh, you're getting the business.
There's a 4.
Yeah, you go to take another bite, and then your brain just goes, nope. And you immediately,
good.
for the rest of you watching, you'll see his eyes swirling this beautiful bright gold. Give me that athletics
Wait,
check.
Sestican?
Sesticans.
Wow.
That's
He
yeah,
turns
that's good.
on the
Fish
dragon
are friends, not food.
Beautiful. Have we ever
No,
seen that
it's
before?
food. It's just not your food.
No, James,
Oh,
you've really got to watch Finding Nemo at some point.
I have watched
That's
it
a.
once.
Then you have no excuse. There's a 14 athletics.
I like the turtle. Yeah,
Me too.
you sort of just about struggle, and you push it up with your nose, and eventually Seskin's head just plunges in and pulls out this huge creature. Anybody standing too close to the edge, so I'll say Twiggy and Natani, go ahead and make me a deck save.
Over. Oh,
Well,
God.
you're gonna get knocked in.
No. Oh, no. I'm pretty good at decks. 11.
Yeah, so this fish sort of, as he turns, it just cracks you round the head and knocks you to the ground as you get hit by this huge, like, 300-pound fish. And then Seskin begins pulling it away. My food, my food. You've got about 7 hit points left on your shark. You can go for a little more swim before you come to the shore if you wish.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Still, I think still frenzied. I
yeah,
need to go.
you
eat
go and get your own
something,
fish.
so-
And Sestican will apologise for charming you and tell you he's very grateful when you eventually do wild shape back.
Yes.
And just as all this excitement is coming to an end, you hear Carson's voice saying, "Crossing back over the river."
Oh,
That's you guys.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's go.
Patrick. I call into the river. Let's go.
But yeah, you can all go back over across the river.
How long does it take to go over there?
About 10 minutes. It's a bit of a struggle. The boat sort of goes sideways a lot, but you can pull your way over there.
Okay.
And as you get over there, you'll be encouraged to pair up again. Same options. Do you all go with the same people, or are you going to pair differently?
Let's.
Dibs on Twiggy.
Davy will immediately look to Arya and offer to go to pair up with Arya.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And are you still with Tamara, Alora?
Go with Emil.
Okay, you'll go with Emil. Sorry, I asked you if you were still with Arya. That must have been a confusing sentence. Tamara and Tats will pair off and head off. And as you all group up, there's a few interesting buildings that you hadn't been to before. Davy is very interested, Arya, in visiting the buildings that he was told about yesterday. Those very that he found. No, sorry, wrong ones. Tats is very interested in going to the buildings that Davy found yesterday, with the exotic memories.
The sex show.
He'll take Tamara. Is that where you're going to take Patrick back to the sex show?
I just wanted to show me where it is.
Okay.
I'll come watch it later.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just get the pairs in chat? I've got Arya and Emil. Is that right?
Nope.
Twiggy.
No.
No, Natani and
Arya.
Emil.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Although Twiggy, I think it might take a while to see that show because I think Emil's set up his tent inside that house.
Arya,
He's queuing up.
would you go with Davy or Tats? Davy will offer, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So I've got that right now, yeah, guys?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to follow Davy and Arya. As Davy tells you that he's been strongly urged by Spit to head over to the other side of town. So if you remember, there was that rift sort of through the town that at some points it's like a large, almost ravine, but at some points it's just a narrow crack. But it's where the town was sundered in two. I mean, say town. It's a big city. No, can't call it a town.
Right.
And they will ask if you mind crossing over. Okay. As you wander about for a while, you come across Rapska. who seems to be exploring alone, as Hebe dropped him here this morning. And he sort of looks up at you and in a voice you've never heard Rapskull use, Ari, he looks directly at you. I knew you would come.
What the fuck? Sorry. You did? Oh,
Well,
you okay?
you haven't discovered her yet? Come with me.
Sorry. Okay.
And he'll begin. Davy sort of. Is he? Do you and him? Are you friends? And you trust him? Is he?
We've talked
I thought
about.
he was-
I mean, I should be fine.
So just a reminder, he used to look like that. He is now a lot taller and a bit thinner. His face a little drawn. He's got very regal red scaling, and he's very, very scaled around the under the eyes, sort of across the brow. His hair sort of now pulled back as he's got almost a crest in the front, and he's sort of very broad of shoulder. He's really changed more than anyone else apart from Tamara, who grew wings. And after a while, he turns to you, and it's just around this corner. And leads you to this fairly large house with that's a sort of terracotta colour, almost a dark reddy brown. And there's this beautiful sort of globe at the top, sort of like a, I don't know how to explain it, but lots and lots of crenellations all the way around the globe, almost like a star. And as soon as you enter, you feel a little unusual, a little unnerved, as if this feels familiar. As if this feels like something you recognize. You feel an almost unerring urge to go to the kitchen, to put your hands on the sides. It's a bit like coming home after a long, long time away, and everything feels like it's where you would have put it if you had designed it. And then you realize that what Rapskull wanted to show you is this beautiful lattice work across the back wall. It's made of black and silver stone, and it's interwoven in hundreds of sort of, it looks like a rope, I guess, of many, many tiny strands. And you can't resist. Immediately you place your hand to it. And you see a very beautiful version of you. A little taller, a little thinner, a little more drawn. The same beautiful amethyst scaling. No scars. No hint of any scars ever having existed. But this could easily have been you if you had have grown into an elderling without the past you've had. And then you see him. The man that Rapskull is perhaps growing into. And you know that his name is Teletor, and yours Amarinda. And I'll just put those in chat for you. And you know that they have spent 3 or 4 lifetimes together. And they always knew that they would find each other again and again. In history and in the future. In this moment, you feel yourself drawn to reach out and take what is Rapskull's hand. As you hold this lattice work. But Rapskull sort of quite gently pushes her hand away and... No, it is... There's something else you need to see. The relationship is a strong one. It's a difficult bond to forget, Amarinda. But you need to see beyond that. You need to see who Amarinda was, what she did, what you need to do. And as you try within the memories to remember what Amarinda did for work, you can't. Remember that it couldn't be put in the memories. It wasn't allowed to be put in the memories. Remember that she was very well respected by everyone. You remember that she had gloves upstairs. In a drawer. Kept under lock and key. You remember she was passionate about her work, but she had to be careful she didn't do too much of it. As if it endangered her. And you remember the passion of their love. It wasn't a happy relationship. They argued frequently. He was a general, a warlord. They were envied by many. They were some of the most beautiful people in the whole city of Kelsingra. But God, did they argue. They came together like fiery passion. They made up with just as much passion. Amarinda was happiest when General Teletor was away fighting, or when she was at her work where he couldn't disturb her. But she could never have been without him. You're gently pulled away from the lattice work, and you see Rapskull Teletor turn to you. And do you see it? You, but not you.
Yeah.
I think this is what it is to be Elderlings. To have lived many lifetimes before, and to have them all within us. Amarinda was important. Teletor knew it. But her personal memories aren't here. And you know that every Elderling had that capstone, that life stone, that they recorded the memories of their lifetime in. But Amarinda's is not in her home, which is here. It must have been in her place of work. All you remember is that it was away from the rest of the city. Davy sort of looks at you and... Hey, you alright?
Yes? No? Trying to make sense. It's all familiar, but not right.
Like a shadow of a past life.
Yeah.
Let's get you outside in the fresh air. And as he leads you outside, you feel this sort of unerring urge to reach out and grab your coat from behind the door as you go out. But when you reach up, there's nothing there, just an empty peg. It's a little spooky. And then... give me a charisma save.
Nat 1.
Yeah, you begin to walk to work. Davy follows you a little bit. Upscale too. And then just at a particular moment, you suddenly feel yourself pulled back, almost as if out of a dream. Whoa, whoa! Careful! And as you look down, there is a secondary rift here, a ravine, that goes down almost endlessly. You were about to walk straight across it. You're following a memory that's not there anymore.
Sorry.
Rapskull sort of looks around him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
And then again, Rapskull in that other voice, that voice you hadn't heard before, sort of. You'll find yourself, Amarinda. You'll find where to be. Davy sort of, hey, back it off a bit. Should we go explore somewhere else, somewhere a bit more cheerful?
Please.
I don't know about you, but I hear they've got these really cool bathhouses. They're meant to be really comfy and get all clean, and there's plenty of space. Like we can have separate baths and whatever. Like, you want to go?
Sure. Yeah. Good. Sounds good. Relax.
And Davy will lead you to where he's been told the bathhouses are, leaving you to dwell on the memories of Amarinda. Where the hell are Twiggy and Patrick going? And is it anywhere sensible?
I think you know the answer.
Are you guys just going straight back to the sex dreams?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
No. I mean, if it was up to Patrick, he would just point in a random direction and walk.
Okay.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Great. I will close my eyes and let Twiggy spin me around as I point.
And that's the way we go. I have my eyes closed also while I'm spinning him, so I'm not cheating.
Yeah. You will find yourself wandering towards Patrick, the house you were in before with Kimura and Bode,
Ooh.
the husband and wife healers.
Yes.
And you can show Twiggy the home. And Twiggy, you'll find yourself sort of remembering the healing that you had to do today, a little drawn to a particular stone, and you can step into the memories of Kimura. Kimura was a short woman for an elderling, but not halfling short. Sort of 5 foot, 5'1". But she was a commanding presence. She was always in charge. She was very capable, and everybody looked to her and respected her for her abilities and for her knowledge. Her husband was a quiet and unassuming man, and he was quite powerful in his own right, in his magics. But Kimura was the creativity, the physical prowess, the surgeon. She was the force behind dragon and healing and human healing alike. And
Cool.
you'll note her sort of place her hands on dragons and return scales where they've been scratched off. Place her hand on humans and bring warmth to them when they, you find one person with frostbite their fingers, and a lot of her memories are of her proudest moments discovering new healings, or performing feats that were previously thought unexpected. But also she had a long and patient love for Bode, who was a sort of very quiet and unassuming man who was incredibly loyal, who kept her sort of anchored. She was a dreamer. She loved gazing up at the stars at night, exploring the forests, going and sort of searching for unusual ingredients, for alchemy potions and herbs and poultices and stuff. And she loved her work.
Was she not friends with oh gosh, don't tell me her name. No, it's gone.
She was friends with Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn, right?
But sort of
But I remember that
business
they...
friends as much as anything else at first, and then it grew into quite a loving friendship might be the wrong way. Both of them were quite independent creatures. For Kimura, just being with Bode was, difficult enough in terms of socializing.
Yeah.
But not only that, Gwendolyn was deeply in love with Bode.
Yes, this I recall. So awkward to see the love triangle from both sides.
Yeah. And both of these women resonate, I think, with Twiggy in their own way.
Yeah,
their
that's why it's
independence,
kinda cool.
but also their sort of joy at life. Neither one of them... I mean, okay, to be fair, Gwendolyn did mope a little bit. But then she found joy in beauty and nature, and she made gardens, and she was happy again. Both of them didn't dwell too much on anything, and really just got on with life. You also know that in her spare time, wherever she found that, because she was a very busy woman, Kimura liked to weave. And she wove a tapestry that is on the bedroom upstairs, actually, if you go up. And you will see that it is of the city, how it used to be.
Oh, wow.
And so you have this sort of image. It's a tapestry. It's not super accurate, but you do have an image of how the city of Kelsingra once looked. And you will note that there is a fair bit of it missing now. Crumbled to ruins, or perhaps over that last edge that goes down sideways.
My goodness. What happened here?
Patrick, as you're wandering around this home, you'll be drawn into Bode's memories of his healing again, but this time of his life.
Not again.
He was a quiet man who loved his wife very much. But underneath all of that, he was a very interesting man. He could speak with both animals and plants like you can. And I think maybe that's what will draw you most, was his memories of long conversations with beautiful mountain eagles, with sort of wondrous old trees, and this one particular vine that grows sort of all from one root, but very, very far, almost 3 or 4 kilometers. You could communicate with this creature that had such a widespread knowledge of the land. And Bode didn't really speak to many humans other than Kimura. and indeed only to the one dragon, unless it was part of a healing. Because the healing was so busy, he liked to be alone, but found the company of animals and plants very comforting. When the two of you come round from your reverie in this sort of area, you'll sort of, almost on the wind, smell just the slight scent of baked bread. Both of you realise almost at the same time that you're very hungry.
I hope it's garlic bread.
It's definitely not. It is definitely
It
sweet.
never is.
It is
Banana
definitely.
bread.
It might well be that. It is definitely
no.
sweet. But as you sort of both almost in harmony as you always are, you know, such a pair. Neither one of you going downstairs and out the front door, but instead sort of onto the balcony and down the outside stairs and sort of almost tumbling over each other into the square. And where you see this really busy restaurant next door, you see this sort of early morning queue for bread. And
I'll get in the queue.
Oh. I will.
of course you will.
I will take Patrick. I don't think we have to wait for them. I'm gonna go get in the front of the line.
You can't do that to me. I would get upset.
Nope, bring it on. Anyone
And,
want some of this?
You see this, not looking like you, but a ginger-haired gnome. He doesn't look that like you, but he could easily be a relative. Sort of very gregarious and very happy and chirpy. Sort of chatting away.
Is that you?
No, in fact, you will find very quickly that his name was...
Was it my dad?
I was just about to say, Patrick, it's your dad. We found him.
No.
Where have I put this? Harvin. His name was Harvin.
Oh no, my dad's name was Marvin.
Yes, Marvin and Harvin. Harvin always starving. Also, by chance, married to Zoya, who works next door. So you could be two people, one of whom was married to Arya and one to Twiggy. What a confusing life for a gay boy.
No. How do we deal with this?
I think this is my reward of my past lives.
Like, do not let him breed anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna end this line now.
The bloodline ends here.
Stop with those stupid genes. Anyway, as you sort of almost feel an urge to jump into action, as you notice all the ovens along the wall as he's sort of baking different breads and different pastries. Fantastic baker, and everybody just joyous to see
red hair
chatting away with him.
baking?
Yes, the red-haired gnome is baking. And Patrick, you can go upstairs to his life stone and understand the sort of life he led. He was a gregarious man who loved company. He loved to talk to everyone and anyone. Always out chatting. Not the brightest spoon in the drawer, but definitely, gregarious and friendly and charismatic. And an excellent baker. And you sort of see some kinship here and there with him. He is also a druid, and it is his mastery over the flames that allows him to be such an expert baker. Without opening the oven, could just soften off the heat there, raise it up a little bit here. Not necessarily a wildfire druid, much more a sort of natural druid just into flames, but using control flame very expertly to manage the baking. And as we leave you two in a bakery, where the hell are Natani and Emil getting up to?
So, that way?
That way. Would you take Emil anywhere near the statue?
Probably.
Oh,
You want to show off?
good.
I should warn you, there's a large statue, and it's definitely not of me, but there's a bit of a resemblance.
Emil, as you guys head around that way, you will note that it is literally Natani with slightly different scaling. It is not a slight resemblance. It is a really, really, really terrifyingly close resemblance.
On noticing this, on seeing this, my response is just simple and plain. What the hell? That's just weird. What's that
like
doing
I said,
here?
it's not really anything like me. It's A long story. Well, it's a long memory, really.
Guessing that's one for another time then.
I think we'll have plenty of time to experience as many memories as we wish, but for now, maybe we find new ones.
Mm.
Well, speaking of things that were known of in memories, there was one thing I wanted to find here if I can. I experienced the memories of a rather renowned general who used to be in charge of defending this city.
Indeed, Emil, when you
Something
mention the
around-
name Cassiel,
So, yeah.
you will remember as Elmira, knowing of Cassiel. She would be his sort of, her sort of commanding officer, I guess.
I think I
So
know
Cassiel was
the one.
sorry.
I think I know him. Something about porting to that building.
So when you went off to fight, he was nothing to do with you, but when you came back to the city, he was very much in charge of the protection of the city, and that's why Elmira would have reported exactly to that building. But actually, as Elmira, you remember a lot more the building next to it, where you spent many, many hours training. There were training dummies down there. There was places to spar with others. And you do remember as well that there was a magical training section area as well. You didn't have much to do with it, but you know it existed.
I think you might enjoy that building. Honing your skills? I think I would. Where do you want to start?
Apparently you do mention that building. Do you mind if we start there? I'd like to check that out. Though, afterwards there is... I have no idea where it is actually. But Cassiel was very adamant about defending something in particular around this side of the city.
And indeed, you can point over to where effectively Arya is right now. When you go to this sparring room, it's a little like a sort of strange memory, Natani, as you feel a little like Arya did earlier, this sort of urge to pick up a sword and train, even though the wooden practice swords have long since disintegrated to dust. Indeed, the sparring room itself is not quite in the same tack. But you will see little sort of, they almost look like buttons, circles with a little extended area in front that you can place your hands on around the room. And when you do, you will see what are effectively battle maneuvers, as if you were a battle master. Different ways of executing a block, of executing a strike with different weapons, different ways of holding different weapons. All of this knowledge is stored in these capstones, and while you're going along and panning one after another, Emil will touch like one or two and just be like, wow, boring. And go upstairs, where you will suddenly be amazed by something that Natani would find equally boring. When you see people employing magic in a combat situation to protect and aid dragons. Indeed, you see one man firing what looks like sort of radiant bolts of light from his hand on top of a golden dragon, which just sort of makes you think you could look quite cool one day. And as you go around here, you know that lots of these people remembered having to assemble at the West Gate. There are no memories outside the West Gate, you know that. No memories could be stored, and indeed the use of Memory Stone, as you remember it, was very limited outside the West Gate. But two guards would escort someone out there every morning and retrieve them in the afternoon. And it's there that you know now that if you want to find out what all the secretiveness is, you'd have to head.
Then, once I'm done with this place, I would like to make my way over there.
Okay. And as you make your way over, you see... I nearly called you Amarinda. You see Arya and Davy, my bad. Arya and Davy coming back and heading towards the baths. You can go out there, but you will swiftly discover that the ravine between you and that area that was once cut off is quite large. You'd have to find a way over further down one end or the other.
How large are we talking?
In depth or in width?
In width.
Oh, not that far. Maybe 50 or 60 feet. You could technically fly over there, but you'd be going alone. And over there, the city's sort of on a bit of a slant, and you see that there's a few ruins of black and silver buildings, and then a long area afterwards, which is sort of completely abandoned. Davy will inform you as you come back that he's going to suggest to Carson that the next day you all, or soon, you all go together to visit that abandoned area and find out why it was so important to so many different people. In other words, it's a group trip. Hold your horses.
Sounds good.
And yeah, you guys can go and explore. You'll find lots of other really cool memories, just ways of utilizing elderling magic. Twiggy, give me a perception or investigation check, your choice. And it's fair to say I think all of you will eventually go via the baths because they are such a highlight of the place. At least some of you will sneak off to watch some slightly erotic memories or plays. Go on.
14.
14, fantastic. And I think it's fair to say that lots of you will start picking things up. Whether it's elderling robes, whether it's other sort of comfort devices. There's one particular thing that it looks a bit like a sort of stone book. It's very thin and very light. And then over the back of it is this little sort of curved thing with a ball on the end. And when you're holding it, you can, with just a thought, get it to light up. And it's literally a reading light that you can place a book in. And Twiggy, you'll be very pleased to have found an elderling teapot.
Yes! I'm gonna snag this.
Yeah.
Wait, the light or the teapot?
You can't have the teapot. You might, maybe in real life you might want one, but you can't have it. It's a major storytelling device. You'll back off of Elise's teapot.
Filling in Patrick on the gossip, but I'm telling him to keep it under his hat. So, Patrick.
Does Patrick have a hat?
What gossip?
Well...
Fill him in.
Maybe... So, I was looking for something just like this, and I'll show him the teapot. Guess who's getting married? It's the captain and Elise. Sorry, I didn't give you time to guess.
I was just gonna say
What a
that.
fantastic friendship.
I was just gonna say that, Twiggy.
Sorry, I was too
I
excited.
didn't even know they were together.
Oh, well.
I was just going to say that.
Me
I didn't
neither,
even know they were
honestly.
together.
But he asked me to find this to give, as a proposal present to Elise, because, she loves tea. And I was like, that was so nice. I also wanted to look for maybe a nice bouquet of flowers anywhere, if possible.
Yeah, so you won't find flowers, actual flowers. But you will find preserved in memory stone. A sort of vase with a single beautiful rose that looks real until you touch it. And indeed, when you touch it, you get the smell of a rose from it.
Oh, this is perfect. It's not a bouquet, but it's pretty cool, right? I'll hand it to Patrick.
Are there any flowers around?
No. You're in a black and silver stone city, and the streets are stone. No, the streets are stone, and you'll note that nothing grows even... Because it's such it's very unnatural. The road knows it's a road, and so everything else knows not to grow in it. It's the best way I can put it.
It's like programming.
It is. It is very much like programming.
What if I believe it's not a road? Does it cease being a road?
No.
Okay.
Emil, as you're all traipsing about and maybe in the bath or whatever, you'll suddenly hear Ranculos going, "Flying tomorrow! Flying! We're going to fly! You should be there. Me and Harmony, we're going to fly."
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be on hand to put our wings back if it all goes wrong. Like your friend did.
That sounds like it could be a bad idea. I'd be careful if I were you.
No, got to be brave, not careful.
Wow.
Tomorrow.
Can I...
Can you what?
Okay, I'm gonna make an executive decision.
Can
here,
you
but
dissuade him? No.
Can you at least take a trip into Kelsingra first
No.
before you decide
No,
to risk
Jamal,
killing
that's
yourself.
physically impossible.
Oh no.
Damn
The
it.
whole point of this attempting to
missing.
fly is to get to Kelsingra. They're all stuck on the other side. There is a...
Oh, they
there
can't
is
get across,
No,
can
they can't
they?
get
Yeah,
over.
okay.
It's too big. You can't cast Fly on a Dragon because it will reflect back at
no.
you.
Even Patrick knew that. Come on.
Yes, so that's why he wants to fly, to get to Kelsingra so that he can be a real dragon. You've got to remember as well...
22 though, doesn't it? Because he
Yeah,
can't
it's tough.
if he can't fly, then he can't get to Kelsingra. But Kelsingra is going to give him the ability to be able to.
And yet, I will say that Harmony and Ranculos have flourished the most of all the dragons. They've had the longest time hunting the larger food. They were smaller to begin with, so their wings don't have to develop as much to carry such a big body weight. And also, they spent quite a lot of time in the warm spot back when Arya got lost.
Okay.
So, if any dragons are going to make it, it's either going to be them or possibly Mercor, the gold dragon. Those are the most likely candidates. Sylve's dragon.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, go for it. Just don't knock yourself out.
Well, tomorrow. And you'll all be coming back tomorrow. And indeed, when you get back in the evening, you are told by Carson that no one's going to go tomorrow because Mercor has informed them that those dragons who want to are going to try and fly across tomorrow. And all other dragons are on full-time flying training.
Wow.
It's make or break at this point. And so we will very quickly flit to the following day. And
Is Dortian just resting? He's not going to be able to fly for how
he won't
long?
be
Or...
he won't be able to do much more than walking for at least a few days, and you know it's bad for him when some of the other dragons have actually brought him some food.
Oh, the embarrassment, the indignity.
And lack of pride. But they all know, they've all realized that if they don't make it across now, they're going to get bigger and not necessarily stronger. They have to practice their flying over and over until they get there.
Well,
Early in the next day, Patrick,
We just like.
you're awoken at sort of 5 in the morning.
Okay.
And Sestican's voice sort of, Patrick, please would you assist me? I'm on the hill.
What do you need assistance with?
Come to the hill. I want to talk to you.
Okay. Hold on a sec. Okay. I get up and I will wild shape in oh damn it, I just had it. 1 second. Into a giant centipede.
how did you forget that? What?
That it has 30 feet climbing and movement speed. So I'm like a giant centipede, which is still a small beast, but it's still got the signature tuft of orange hair. But instead of like crawling, I'm gonna I'm gonna like get in the shape of a ring and just cartwheel myself
Ooh, I love that.
Okay.
around.
As you roll up the hill,
Yeah.
no questions asked, to the top of the hill. Sestican will sort of look at you and, please, could you undo that?
Please, could you just be normal?
Yeah, me and my 4 hit points will turn back with a great big sigh.
Patrick, this is
and
serious
look
and
of-
important.
What is it?
Today the dragons are going to try and fly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seen to fall in front of the others.
You won't. We've been
He
practicing.
nods
You got
towards the
this.
hill. You can be a bird, right?
Well, yes, my DM's been very generous and allows this.
Fly with me.
Very well. I will turn into that raven with the tuft of orange hair.
And as you do, Sestican sort of reaches back and flexes his wings backwards, and you'll note that they're doing quite well. And he lets out a large roar to the heavens to say he's going to make his attempt. And unlike this sadness that was Dortian with these feet sliding down as if he was falling, Sestigan is majestic as he charges on down the hill. And I'm afraid all I'm going to ask you for is a D100. Yeah, that makes it or it doesn't.
Oh my god.
What do I need?
I'm not going to tell you.
Don't tell. Don't tell.
No.
He needs a number, come on.
I got 28.
Okay. With a 28, as he gets to the top, he sort of jumps and his wings go up. And you see for a moment he catches the wind and he's flying. And then he begins to drop and he swiftly realizes he's not going to make it. And he's going to glide back and do a little semicircle back onto the ground.
I will glide with him.
I will not be held back. I will make it.
You did it.
For one brief moment, I thought I got it. Thought I was flying. And then...
Well, let's do it again. I'll roll another D100.
No, it is not enough yet. We must practice. But practice elsewhere. Come with me, I'll show you. Okay. And he's going to take you, and you on wing, away to sort of quite far away. And there's like a hill and then another hill a little lower down. And he's going to repeatedly, all day, away from the other dragons, jump and try and catch the wing and glide and fly. A couple of times he almost rises back up, but doesn't. His attempt for today is finished. And about 7 a.m., the keepers begin to get up and bustle about. And Ari, I'm sure you will be partaking in the eating, in the feeding of the of all the keepers. Mm-hmm. And Harmony just very quietly, it's time.
It's time?
It's time.
Okay.
If I make it to the other side, when I make it to the other side,
yes,
you will cross and join me there, where you belong. Good. Arya, I'm really scared. But Ranculo says I have to go first. Because if he doesn't make it, I wouldn't go. But if I go first, he'll still give it a go. Even if I don't.
There's nothing to be afraid of. You're gonna make it.
Have you seen the state of Dortian? Of course there's something to be afraid of.
Just don't fail.
Wow.
What great advice.
And you'll notice that almost all the keepers have gathered at the top of the hill. And 7 or 8 dragons are also here. You'll notice Relpta is here, the copper, who was at first the runt of the group. You will notice that Scrim, Dortian's twin, is there. Where the fuck are my dragons? Here we go. You will notice that Kalo is there with Merkor, the two of them sort of eyeing each other, as if daring each other to who's going to go first. Sintara is there, but she's sort of trying not to look too interested and a little further away. Spit is there, although not to try and fly, just to laugh at people if they fail.
Wow.
And, of course, Ranculos. Fent and Veras are nowhere to be seen. And neither is Arbok. And
Right.
Ranculos sort of a little further at the back. You just hear him. She's going to make it! She's going to make it! She is! She is! Go on! And Arya, you have no words for what Harmony does. It is the most awkward chicken dance you ever see. As she sort of stands there. And she sort of, you can see she's trying to preen like a peacock, but frankly she just looks ridiculous. And she almost rears back on her legs, and puts her wings out behind her and flaps them a little bit pathetically. And then she's going to run down the hill with her wings out, which just looks really silly. And as they're sort of flapping up behind her, you can just hear her concentrated thought going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, all the way down the hill. And as she gets to the bottom, she is going to take a fucking leap of faith. Give me that D100.
Oh boy.
And I will tell you,
26.
you guys have different numbers for different dragons. So even if one of you makes it with one, another one might not make it with the other. She gets to the bottom of the hill, and as she reaches the hill, she just sort of, nope! And then she stops. It goes all the way back up to the top of the hill. And once again, she sort of, okay, this time I'll go. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And the wings are flapping. And as she jumps, she's going to leap gloriously into the air. And you see her wings flap once, twice, 3 times. And she gains air. And you just hear her go, I'm going to fall. And then she falls. As if her mental has just blocked her completely. And at first she looks like she's plummeting to the water, but at the last second her wings come out and she glides beautifully to the wrong side of the river. I'm afraid she's landed this side. And then she sort of... Well, I didn't get hurt, but we're going to have to do some practicing. Lots of practicing. I'm going to go jump and I'm going to glide round. And I'm going to jump and glide round and then maybe in a few days, I'm hungry. And with that, she sort of charges off down the side, going hunting. And you come hunting?
Yeah, I'll come.
Okay. You want to watch first and then meet me, or? And if you even attempt to move, Silver's going to grab your hand like so tightly to say, "Please stay until Merkel jumps."
I'll be with you when I can.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know how they fail. And Emil.
And I recall back to when I saw the spellcasters in the training area. You said they had a way of making magic interact with dragons in some way.
No, you saw somebody riding a dragon and firing magic off to aid the dragons in fight, but not actually on dragons. You're just just dealing with
Right,
You
okay.
can't.
So there's nothing that I can do to help Ranculos aside from
Dragons are immune
maybe.
to any spell below 6th level. Let me just put it like that to you.
Yep.
So it will just bounce back at you.
What I will do though, at the very least, is I will take flight myself and try to guide Ranculos with.
Oh, well, that's use it sort of. Oh yeah, real helpful. You can fly, I can't. I know it. Just wait till I can fly. I'll eat you. And Ranculos sort of.
You have to catch me.
He jumps
we can
up
make
and.
a competition of it. Let's go.
How about if I'm falling, you catch me? Ready? Watch this. And he sort of turns around, and you are the only person who is going to get to roll with advantage.
Wow.
So please give me a 2d100, and hope your dragon doesn't show off too much.
Okay. One's a 35 and the other is a 53.
Oh, they added.
A 53. Okay. Ranculos sort of charges down, and he just looks arrogant. He doesn't get that fast. He just struts. And after a while, he gets to the bottom and he locks his wings. And he's gliding beautifully. He flaps once and flaps twice. And at the last minute, Emil, you realize that he is going to catch the edge of the bank. He hits it like a
able to
rock.
fly underneath and try to give a little bit
If
of
you
lift
fly
up
underneath,
if
you will
I hit
take
the bank.
you will take his entire body weight between you and the bank, and you will just die. So don't do that.
Okay.
I've really not got time for you to die in this campaign. I've got one more episode.
That's
As he hits, but he's hit the other bank, right?
Right.
So he hits it and he tumbles onto it. He is incredibly hurt. His one wing is sort of folded up. His neck is sort of at a jaunt. He's completely unconscious, flat on the side of the bank, but he made it to Kelsingra.
Yeah.
I'll immediately fight over to him. I want to make sure he's, actually breathing and,
Very stuttering breath coming. And Arya, Harmony, having witnessed this, comes charging back. And without any hesitation, shoves Kalo out the way, who was going to go across, and runs down, no chicken wings, no silliness, no oh shit, and just leaps from the top. I'll take one more D100. I hope she doesn't crash and die.
Oh no.
82.
82?
Whoa.
You see her fly up, and without sort of any hesitation, fly up into the air, and then come swooping down on the other side and land in a run right next to Ranculos. And she lands perfectly safely on the side and sort of almost puts a wing out in comfort. And without sort of any moment's delay, we are going to have some other dragons run straight down afterwards. They've all suddenly realized this is doable. They've seen a dragon fly. Not a dragonfly, a dragon fly. And it's not Hebe, who nobody likes.
But I would like to do one thing. As Harmony lands, I'd turn to Harmony and say, please stay with Ranculos. I'm going to go get help. And I would like to come back, and I would like to try to fetch over with my flying capability anyone that could help stabilize and take care of Ranculos, namely Arya, and anyone else willing.
Arya, I think, will definitely be willing to be fetched, given that Harmony is on the other side. So yes, Arya would be able to then guide after a little while. We'll know that he's going to have to rest for a while, but after a while, with Harmony to sort of lean on, they can make their way to the dragon healing area and get in those big dragon basins where a lot of the
Perfect.
healing will take place naturally. The next person down that hill is Kalo, who was waiting. I will tell you he needs a 60.
No.
And Kalo is a big dragon.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
And he goes down into the water. He sort of tucks himself in at the last moment. You see him land a lot more solidly than Dortia did. And you do see him wade out a little further down on this side of the river. They cannot swim across. The current is too strong, but he does get out this side. Next in line is Scrim, whose brother crashed so devastatingly, and he needs a 70. And he does that sort of same thing that you saw Harmony before, and gets that locked glide, and comes back round and realizes he's not ready. Next is Melkor, and Arya, having left, Sylvie, you'll notice, is sort of clinging to Jerd like a limpet. And she's the only one who, instead of sort of saying encouragement, she sort of comes out to the front and, just shaking, sort of stands next to Melkor, and you just see her trembling and waiting. And Melkor's going to take his leap, needing a 50 to make it.
Oh.
And as he goes in, he also plummets into the water. And Twiggy, you just hear Balap go, "Enough! My turn! Told you I'd be the first to fly. She didn't fly, she glided to the other side. Watch this!" And Balapa is going to charge on down. Twiggy, give me that D100. Sponsored by Pepsi. Twiggy,
42.
as Balapa gets down there, he's going to do his signature hop. And he jumps,
Let's go.
and he flaps, and he flaps, and he flaps, and he flaps, and he flaps. And much like poor Ranculos, he is going to take air for just this moment, and then plummet. And if Ranculos' look painful, his just looks really embarrassing. He sort of runs along the edge of the bank for a moment, scrabbling, and then his other wings popping, and then he's flapping only one wing, and then he crashes into a pillar and tumbles down to the side, and he's sort of half laying out over the river and scrabbling like a chicken to get back up. But he has made it to Kelsingra.
Yes, King. I need
Just.
to get across.
And you'll note that Centaura sort of looks over and looks thoroughly unimpressed at the rest of them. And Merkel sort of, having walked all the way back round, sort of goads her. "Go on then! You're so much better than the rest of us. Why don't you? Why don't you show us all how you'll fly so gloriously?" Tamara's sort of standing a little to the edge. You're not even sure if she wants her to try or not. And Centaura sort of looks back and, "Fine. I will." And she runs on down, and she just locks out her wings. And she doesn't fly at all, at any point. But she glides beautifully, just maintaining the height. And as she gets round to the stone, she sort of comes to a landing with her feet. And she looks back and shouts, "Which male will fly with me?" And you just hear Azanth roar back, "You call that flying?" And Natani. Azanth is going to very pridefully, he is not going to run. He is going to sort of walk down at a fast trot. And as he gets just close to the ramp, if you like, will suddenly pick up speed. And when he lets go his wings, you hear an audible gasp from almost all of the keepers, as the sunlight reflects off the crystal on the back of the wings of Azanth. It is almost blinding to all of you. And this stunning sort of sunlit vision as Azanth rise into the sky. I'll take that D100, please.
Better be good after that.
Hadn't it just? Please tell me we've got a flying dragon.
66.
66! So much like most to Azanth's embarrassment, much like Centaura, he flaps his wings but gains no air and thinks, "Fuck this, I'm not bailing out like the rest of them," and locks his wings and glides and lands very close to Centaura, almost knocking her, and she's just gaining his feet. And calls back, "I've arrived!" And Patrick, you hear very quietly Sesta can say to you, "If they can make it, should I try again?"
Have we not been trying all day?
No, he's tried once. and decided he wasn't good enough.
You said we were going to try all day.
Yes, he's spent the whole day jumping off one hill to another and just gliding. Now he's asking if he should try the jump again across the river.
Yes. This is... I feel very left out if we don't.
He sort of nods to you, and Patrick, if you will, he is going to take you in his jaws.
Oh, wow.
And take you across with him. He is determined. You'll make it together,
Yes.
knowing that you can wild shape into... You have had a short rest, so you can wild shape into...
How...
If you need to, you may wild shape into a bird to escape death.
How is he holding me in his jaws?
Sort of one bit over your chest and one bit over like your thighs. Sort of his big teeth come down beyond your body, if you like, and you're sort of kept in the jaw grip.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just wait to see what happens before wild shaping.
Okay.
So I'll just... what if I could, I'd like to lay it on his tongue so that my head's poking out of his teeth.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you go for you're trying to give him some aerodynamics, I like it.
Yeah.
And as he goes down, there is nothing glamorous or pretty about this. He's the third biggest dragon at this point, behind Kalo and Mercor.
Pretty beefy.
And Dortian, sorry, fourth biggest. He's large, his wings aren't all that big either. So I am going to ask you, please, to roll me a D100 and add 10 to the result.
Let's go, Patrick.
Oh, you're just taking pity on me now.
No, I'm not. This is him having practiced all day. I did prepare for quite a few people failing during the day.
Okay. That's a 69? Or a
Nice.
96? No, that is 69, I think.
Okay.
So, 79.
Sessican is unable to fly, I will tell you that. But what he does is glide and then vigorously flap his wings like a chicken trying to take off. And he will just keep going with brute force. He's not going to get any higher, but he's going to stop himself from falling. And the speed and impact at which he hits the ground, his mouth opens, you fly out like a rocket. You can catch yourself midair into bird and swoop out the way as he sort of charges, and he's halfway down the street and across the road and across the bridge before he can even slow down. His wings are still flapping even though his legs are on the ground. It's really quite embarrassing, but all of your dragons have made it to Kelsingra.
Yeah.
With them are Sintara, Mercor, and... No, sorry, Sintara Relpda makes it after that.
Aww.
And one other of the other dragons, I think. And Hebe has made it, of course. Very much later in the day, Spit is going to try on his own and fail miserably.
Aww.
Little
fella.
But Ranculos is the only dragon that is severely injured in the attempt and will be recovering this side of the river, whilst on the other side of the river, back at home, Dortian is recovering. And some of the other dragons are sort of attempting to eat their way to strength, and are now... they've almost given up the embarrassment. And they know that it doesn't matter how stupid they look. They need to make it before they get too large to carry their own weight without growing proportionately, at which point they'll never make it to Kelsingra. Obviously, somewhere a long, long way away, there may be another place to cross, but right now this seems their best bet. Carson will suggest that very few keepers stay back on the village side of the river, and that he and some of the boat crew will continue the building of the shelters. There is plenty of hunting up to the north of Kelsingra. But as your dragons have arrived, we will take a short break. Be right back. Oh, and welcome back to episode 14! Our dragons took flight. How exciting.
Yeah.
And as such, either that day or the following day, Patrick, Natania, Milaria, and Twiggy, you will have taken residence on the other side, on Kelsingra. I want to know, Natani, let's start with you. Is there a particular type of house you would have looked for? Is there a house you've already visited that you would move into? What would your thinking be about finding a place of residence?
Kind of like the idea of there being a workspace in Adriel's home, but does it have a balcony? I want a balcony.
It has a workshop out to the side where she used to work. And it's not so much a balcony, but the second floor of her home opens up onto the roof. And she's got sort of almost like... A roof garden is a very strong word for something that was built over 2,000 years ago and is still present now. But you've got this sort of like slightly... do you know those sort of garden walls of stone that go around the outside of a wall that sort of look quite pretty?
Sure.
Yeah, it's got like that on the roof. And then there's a dried out fountain and a broken chair. But it's a roof garden that doesn't have any garden features.
Workable, I like it. I'll take it.
So you are going to move into Adriel's home.
Yes.
I will give Makeda a moment. Arya, would you move into anywhere you've already visited? Or would you look for something different or something new?
Yeah, I would be starting to settle down above the restaurant.
Yep.
Where's Zoya?
Zoya's restaurant? Yep. Could be very interesting if Patrick was to take the part of the baker, but I don't think he will. Emil, would you settle down anywhere in particular? I mean, obviously the places you've been are more workplaces, although the dragon groomer Vakis did have a home next door to the dragon grooming area. Or would you seek out something particular, some form of cottage or home that was comfortable to you?
I would like to seek out something of my own, something that's available.
Okay.
Although,
Big one, small one, very, very tall one, fat one, thin one.
where did the what
Big
was the
one, green
general's
one?
name again? Where did he decide to take residence?
So the General Cassiel, his home was within the courtroom. He had this sort of residence above the courtroom. If you remember, you actually put your hand behind his fireplace to find his memories.
Yeah,
where
it's
he'd hidden them.
trashed, isn't it?
Yeah, it had been smashed up, almost as if in anger with something he'd done or a way he'd behaved. That being said, everything's smashed up in this place, or ruined. It'd be very usable as a home. There is still a bed. Alternatively, there are various different houses. There are little coloured cottages. Some of whom you get the impression were left abandoned. Somebody had moved out of them prior to the cataclysm that destroyed Kelsingra, meaning there is no life stone in them. There are still memories of different people who've lived in the homes, but one particular example is this sort of cobalt blue building that sits on the edge of town. It's very wide and a single story, a bit like a sort of large bungalow, if you will. Has a very pleasant garden out the back with what used to be a large pond, although it's now dried out. It is also looking out over the river. There is a little rose, sort of pale pink building, which is 3 stories and quite narrow. And on the top floor, it was once used for as a sort of greenhouse with a sunroof. It's not currently in use, but it's quite nice, and you could have a 3rd floor garden in your house.
That's really quite cute.
My plans to
don't
hook
really-
you up with Alum's house is, well, he died, so never mind.
Oh,
Shame. Yeah, I'll take the house that was destined for Adam then, I guess. Well,
that's sweet. That was Emil's homie.
that one
Yeah,
doesn't
Alum
have
was
a-
going to
that
grow
one
the
doesn't-
plants on the roof, and then, obviously he just took one for the team.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
So that house doesn't have a life stone in it, does it?
No, it doesn't. You can remember back that a couple of different herbalists lived here over time and moved on. Probably because there's not that much of a selection of herbs around Kelsingra.
Sure. But
Unless
yeah,
they're
I'll
in
take one of
Gwendolyn's
those
garden.
because
Okay.
sometimes the memories get a little intrusive.
Yeah.
And they seem to be taking to people quite well, so I'd like at least to.
Emil
No.
taking a 3-story townhouse. You'll be delighted to find out that Jerd will move in next door into this
Nice.
wonderful fashion designer's home. She used to sew dresses, and she's also taken control of a house a little further down the road of a gentleman who used to be a jeweler, and she's also found a woman's house who used to make shoes. She was a cobbler, and her husband was a cobbler as well. And she has an extensive wardrobe built up of all 3 homes.
Wow.
An attorney.
Well, I would
sorry, not
also
attorney,
like, if I can, to since I can fly, to scout around the city, and I would like to see if there's any more of those really curious statues that seem to look so much spittingly like specific people that happen to already be among us.
Hebe eats you. No, I'm kidding. No, there's only the one big statue, and that is of Elmira. But there are a couple of other monuments to people. One is to a grand golden dragon, whose name is sort of engraved down upon it. But his name, sort of underneath it, it says Lord of the Flames. So he was pretty cool. And there is also a smaller statue of a trio, a man, a woman, and a child. And from what you understand, the child died quite young. In fact, the whole family died in one go. And it's interesting because it doesn't tell you how they died. Mainly that they died in the interest of Kelsingra, or protecting the interests of Kelsingra would be a better way to put it. And it's quite a monument to them. They're also unnamed, which is very unusual, especially with all this memory thrown around. Arya. Anyway, no, I'm sorry, lost my list, because I started with Michaela, and when I went to turn to Michaela, her screen was black, and I completely confused myself afterwards, because I jumped down to Arya, who was in 4th place. Michaela, Twiggy, where would Twiggy go? I don't think I need to ask this question, but I'll ask anyway. Where would Twiggy go?
I already called dibs on Gwendolyn's house with the lovely willow tree right outside.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, that's my name. It's right there. You can't miss it.
Okay. When you choose that home, Sylv will come and knock very politely on the door. And
Wow. Hi. Twiggy makes a big show of opening the door. Like, how novel to have our own house. Hey, Sylv, come on in. Let me
it's
show
wonderful.
you around.
Do you mind if we're neighbours? It's just there's
Absolutely.
this lovely place next door of a
Yeah, let me see
woman
which
who
one
was
she's
like
looking at.
who was like me.
Oh, what do you mean?
And when she takes you to it, she'll show you the memory stone. The woman had beautiful golden scaling, but most importantly, didn't have any hair. Had scales instead, a little like Sylv,
Okay.
and that's what she means by like her. And the woman was a very gentle creature who seemed to be something of a town. You might call it a busybody, I guess. She was very much a friend to everyone. She didn't seem to have a specific job, but she did lots of little things. She pressed flowers. She painted. She greeted lots of visitors. She had lots of interactions with the villagers who lived across the bridge in the non-elderling town. She used to take them food and such and collect other things that they would farm and things like that. She was just a bit of a busybody, really. She just had a job of doing everything and not much of anything, which might suit Sylv. And Sylva sort of, I feel a really connection to her, but I just wanted to make sure you're okay with it, neighbour.
Absolutely. I feel kind of something similar with the woman who used to live here, and I'll like show her the remains of what used to be her garden and say, I hope I can.
Hold on.
Make...
And she runs off.
Okay.
And after a little while, she comes back, and she's carrying a little tiny pouch in her hand. And
My gosh.
maybe you could start with these. And she's going to give you 4 seeds.
Oh.
She brought them from Treehawk. These were
So.
seeds from the plants that her grandmother grew in her home back in Bingtown, all the way to the south, that they'd been keeping alive in pots. And they're flowers, they're beautiful flowers, and they are sunflowers.
Sylv, I am so honored. This will be great. Our first plant, and once they're full size, I will definitely. I will have some ready to plant in your yard as well.
Oh, just to see them out of my window at yours would be amazing. That's so. It was just meant to.
Thank
do you
you.
feel
This
like?
is-
some of this is meant to be like it was our lives before us. Like we've arrived and we're meant to be here.
Yeah, it's Balliper kind of says a lot of the same thing, like remembering his old lives and who he used to be, and yeah, I feel like that's sort of what happens with us too, it seems like.
It'd be horrible if you'd, if you found one that's meant to be you and you didn't want it.
Well, I don't think
Not
you
that was pointed or
necessarily.
anything.
No,
Never that.
I don't think you.
How's it going up there, Arya?
What?
Or should I say Amarinda?
Nah. No, but I don't think you have to necessarily be whoever these people used to be, but I
Sometimes
think it's just...
I think it might be
just
hard
nice
not
to
to
work.
for some people. Have you spoken to Rapscale?
Not lately. Why?
I think he's too much like the previous self. He even refers to
Oh.
himself as Teletor sometimes.
Oh. Like he's been touching the stone too long? Is that what happens?
I think he's finished Teletor's story and believes it to be somewhat his own. He's going around like giving orders and things.
Really? Well, he can try it over here. Not on our street.
Not on our street, she says, she sort of like clinks her water skin at you. Patrick, where the hell are you?
Yeah, where's your house, Patrick?
To quote Hermione Granger, well, isn't it obvious?
No.
No.
The house on the hill, silly.
House on
Oh,
the
you are
hill.
taking the house on the hill. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, as you,
Cute.
Davy will be over the moon when he gets here in 7 days, which is how long it takes Kalo to fly across the damn river.
Wow.
Well, it sucks to be him.
Second,
Sucks.
second to last, by the way, Kalo.
Oh, how embarrassing. I
Right.
could never.
Spit takes 2 months.
Oh.
The little
Callum's
silver.
pride must be so wounded.
The little silver takes 2
Guess
months to
that's
get
what
over.
you get for being a little bitch.
Well, he's very, very large, so it was quite difficult for him to get up.
Sure, and his wings are all tattered and stuff,
yeah.
so...
Spit is just a bit mean, really, and a bit rude, and refuses to cooperate with anyone ever. So that's why he's kind of screwed himself over by not practicing, and not really, being very nice to anyone, and therefore not getting a big share of food. And yeah, I mean, even Carson, his
Rowdy.
keeper, kind of doesn't like him very much.
Aw.
He's just a bit of a dick, to be honest. But when he makes it over, the only person who seems pleased is Relpta.
Yeah.
And Carson and Cedric are very much a couple, and it seems their dragons are going to be too. Isn't that sickly?
That's
Ugh.
kind of cute.
Oh, very much so not. Arya, you don't want to couple up with Emil then to make that double coupling cute?
Hey.
I'm also in a relationship with his intent.
I mean,
Wow, I can see it
yeah.
now.
He's
After
in love with Palm and her 5 sisters.
after everybody
They're
other
gonna
than
slap you.
after everybody other
Actually, the
than
5 sisters are gonna slap you.
After
I hope not
everybody-
straight after.
after everybody other than Spit has made it across the river, I'm going to continue talking now, and you're going to be silent. Carson will collect you all in the town square for a meeting, so to speak.
Oh boy.
And he will announce to you that the king and queen of the Elderlings will be arriving. At which point you'll also think, what the fuck? But you have been told about these people. These are Malta and Rain Coopers. And they are the Elderlings to the dragon Tintaglia.
Oh.
First dragon back in the world of... back
Is
in
that the one
Soulforge. She
that-
was the blue dragon in Soulforge that went fucking with the black dragon that you dug out the earth.
That the girl tried to get us to
Oh,
kill, right? That dragon. No.
Yeah, no, the girl tried to get you to kill the black dragon. The black dragon is the dragon that the blue dragon Tintaglia wanted to mate with and turned up to help you all get out of the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful blue Tintaglia. Apparently she has heard that these dragons are made to Kelsingra, and she is flying, and her elderlings are making their way up.
Oh my goodness. Wait,
So-
how do you hear about this, Carson?
Lefterin sent a pigeon, and he sort of he sort of shrugs and he's like, I don't like the birds, and I've somehow managed to be given the care of the ugly bastards. But Lefterin sent a pigeon from 2 days downriver to say that they were on their way. Tintaglia is expected to be here soon. I don't know what soon is in the words of a dragon.
Should we?
Probably
tidy
5 years
up?
from now.
Well, what preparation do we give a dragon? And which point
Oh, we
I
should
will
ask the
take a...
dragons.
No, you shouldn't. You should ask a mill.
Oh.
A mill, I will take a history check with advantage, please, as you've been snooting round those memories.
What have you learned?
Oh. That's 14.
Yeah, you remember a few things. First of all, the dragons would traditionally land in the river. Well, obviously Tintaglia is not going to do that because the river is very different to how it used to be. But you would often greet them in the town square. Fanfares and music might greet them. Ballads would be sung of their glorious return. And often a groomer and perhaps a healer as well, and the bard would be ready to greet them. They would be led to the baths where they could sort of wash off and then be beautifully groomed and shining and then make their presentation. You have no idea Tintaglia is expecting any of that, but you guys might as well give it a go. You can hope that her elderlings turn up to do those things.
I know.
Well, we
right?
certainly couldn't do any kind of fanfare or anything. I think about the best that we could do is Peters and Lee welcome home.
Oh, no, there are instruments around. You can give it a go at a trumpet if you want. Is Emil play any other trumpets outside of his tent?
Got him.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Trumpet
what?
blower.
Twiggy actually plays
No,
a
just a
pan
beef
flute,
trombone.
apparently.
Yes, if you're going to serenade a dragon, you should do it with a pan flute.
Yeah, I'm playing my little ocarina.
Are you?
Oh, yes,
are there any instruments you do not play?
Seducing the dragons.
Well, I don't play any instruments, but I do sing.
Oh, you
I play
sing.
Oh,
I'm sure somebody had like 4 instruments.
I play 2.
Was it you? Okay. You. What does
I
Patrick play?
the drum and the horn.
oh, now we're getting a band together.
I'm also
We
really
can
good
play
with a
cards.
herbalist kit.
I play cards!
Daddy!
Oh dear. Yeah, so you guys get together in the little makeshift band, but it is the Elderlings 2 days later that arrive first. Multa and
Nice.
Rain are beautiful. I mean, absolutely stunningly beautiful. She is regal. She has this sort of crest of blue scaling that makes it look like a crown. Rain is sort of very dark and somber with this dark blue scaling. And they have with them a little boy, about 12 or 13, who is also blue scaled, and he looks like he was literally born like a lizard. He has blue scaling thick all the way down his neck, and he actually wears a veil lightly that covers his face slightly, but he pulls it back when he meets you people. But you know that he would normally wear this around cities and towns, because he is thick scaling all the way around the eyes. He is a different sort of creature. And then only hours later, the grand dragon Tintaglia, who I'd like to remind you is big enough to eat Kalo, she's huge, beyond huge, arrives, and Selden will sing her praises. The young boy, Multa's younger brother, will sing her praises as she arrives, and she will ask you all whether you have found Kelsingra's source. That is Source, please, not ketchup.
Oh damn! I put the ball back in my
The
bag.
secret sauce of Kelsingra.
Comes out of a Mill's trumpet on a Thursday.
Raw
Oh
sauce.
my
Oh,
god.
To which nobody will have a clue what they're talking about, except for Arya.
Or don't. Oh, Arya knows.
What?
Rapscal sort of... Well, go on. Tell them. You were going there, were you not, once?
What's
Tintaglia turns her full focus on you, Arya. And you don't know what they're talking about, but you know that it's something to do with whatever Amarinda did. And Tintaglia sort of looks and... The memories are shut off to me, like they were to many of
Is
us.
this thing they've been guarding?
And Rapscal sort of almost possessively puts his arm sort of around your shoulder, Arya. which I'm sure you love. And Judd is giving him the most evil stare from about 3 foot away, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You know, she's more than ready to back you up and protect you. But he says, to answer that question, you'll have to be her, just shortly. Just for a moment. You could do it for all of us, for all the dragons. It was important. Teletor knows it was important. Where were you at on those thoughts?
It's like she's visibly like going back and forth with a mental debate on like whether or not to do this.
Malta, who would be regarded as queen of the Elderlings, sort of steps forward and... Please, I understand that what's being asked of you is difficult, even if I do not understand what is being asked of you. We would be greatly in your debt. Tintaglia has searched for whatever this is for almost her entire lifetime. If you can help.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try.
And as you return to the place where Amarinda and Teletor lived, you once again follow that journey, but this time you're sort of in 2 worlds. You're seeing the world and you're seeing the memory. And instead of leaving the house, you go upstairs. And you find the small key just under the shelf. And you unlock the drawer in the bedroom and pull out 2 gloves. And Malta will gasp, as you will note that these gloves are covered in the scaling of dragons. They're dragon scale gloves. Dragon scales are not allowed, they're illegal to be used in any sort of costume or clothing or sold for any reason. But Amarinda wore these a lot, and you pull them on with confidence. They come all the way up to the sort of here, to halfway up the bicep. And then you leave and you follow that route you were following before, but knowing that there's that ravine, you continue on down to the side of the town. And then you see the small bridge in your mind and note that the ravine is there, and waiting next to you is Harmony. She dips her shoulder and... I'll take you.
Okay.
You hear Tintaglia's voice, with no harness. You know, she's sort of like, how dare this dragon be ridden like a cow or a horse? But Harmony sort of turns back and gives the very, very big blue dragon a very angry stare and... This is for dragonkind. That's what you said. You must learn to work together, lest your pride be our downfall. And she allows you to alight on her back. And with quiet confidence, Harmony will not run like a chicken, but just simply rise into the air and drift down on the other side of the ravine. And put you down. Arya, as you step forth, you're no longer in Amarinda's memories. You know as Arya now where you're going. And as you walk through this very quiet part of town, you'll note there are no memories here, no memory stone at all. You see a very old traditional winch in a well. As you look down, expecting to see the sparkle of the silver that is worked into all the memory stone in the world. That which gives dragons their magic and their memories. That which allowed Verity to shape a dragon. With his hands covered in silver. You see the dried bottom of the well. And that's where we'll end.
Oh, the bottom of the well
is dry, completely dry, stone.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Don't worry, Arya, we'll toss you down there next week. But for now, we'll come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. And I will start where I finish, and I believe that was with Jamal.
Oh, this was certainly a saucy episode. I would say it was raunchy, but it was more raunchy.
It was a tad raunchy. It's your fault.
Well, no, I didn't do shit to make it happen. It just happened.
Anything else? Or just that? Just your saucy episode?
Rankiros keeping up the tradition of eating shit.
Yeah, he's taken a beating a lot of times this campaign, and it's been
Just
worth
like his
it every time.
Poor little guy.
Jay, your MVP.
Yeah, man, I love the whole Harmony and Rankos. Like, they're adorable. I love them together. Good.
I like the little bonds we've seen and formed in this. Josh, I think. I don't know. I've lost all track of what order. I have no idea of what order we have it in, and I'm just going to make it up. Josh, your MVP.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'll just take one, so someone else can take the other. But everyone getting their homes. You know, we lived in a place where it wasn't very comfortable for most of us, and then spent so long traveling in tents and in horrible weather conditions. Some people thrived, Emil, but the rest of us may not have. So it's nice that everyone's finally got an actual roof over their heads and a place to actually call their own and not be shunned and stuff like that. So
I was hoping that Emil would take Cassio's home, so he could still live in a tent in the home while it was being rebuilt.
That'd be amazing.
Michaela, your MVP.
Yeah, the whole, all the dragons lining up to fly across was so awesome, and I liked that our whole party, all of our dragons made it across, because we're the important ones, right? So that was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, last week Josh was wondering if Laura was the main character. And I said, no, you'll have to wait for this week to find out who the main character is.
I wasn't wondering. I was like, I see Alora as the main character.
Because of this statue, but no, it is you that has to be Amarinda.
Yeah.
So both, just to let you know, the Amarinda is Tamara in the campaign, in the books. It's Tamara, and she, of course, has been fluttering between Tats and Rapscal. And then when she gets taken over that night by Rapscal to see herself as Amarinda, they end up having a bath and making love together. It's all very sweet, and afterwards she's like, "What the fuck? I'm not Amarinda. I'm Tamara, and I want Tats." And then her and Tats have children and everything, and live happily ever after.
That's who she chooses.
Yeah, well, spoilers if you read the books, which you really should, but yeah, never mind. You know what happens now. Anyway, Laura, your MVP.
Well, everybody's taken the really nice moments that I really loved, so I will just give it to Smeech.
Besmeeched. Just smeeched. I don't know what was going on there. His pride was smeeched. Well, I have a whole list of stupid, mostly involving Josh and Manta Ray. Cramph and just Cramph.
Mr. Cramp.
Mr. Cramp, yes. You're a mean one, Mr. Cramp, quite specifically. The image
so
of a shark
funny.
trying to throw fish out of a river while in a current to a dragon. Ridiculous. While shaping back to a gnome and then back into a fish and then asking, are the fish still in my mouth? And I spin on my fin. Or I turn on my fin, I think is actually what you said. Yes, turn on my fin. And a little later, I play the trumpet, I play cards. Thanks, Laura, very helpful. I don't know why the dragon's gonna care. But actually, for me, I really enjoyed the moment of the dragons rising into the sky with you guys. Obviously, we did it based on rolls, but I think in a lot of ways, that made it all the more exciting when it did work out. Obviously, this episode is called Ascent. It would be a bit shitty if none of you made it into the air. And I don't know how we would have ever got out the campaign. Speaking of which, it is the finale next week. It is not going to be a long episode, but we'll follow it with a recap and our traditional sort of MVPs of the whole campaign. So please come prepared. Yeah, as the dragons fly in the air, it is kind of nice just to see you guys get everything right for a week, really. I'm not saying that you played it badly, but like shit's been happening, right? And it's been bad, and it's nice to see a good little pretty ending in
I
sight.
can't wait to lose it all next week.
Well, somebody might die. I'll try and make sure it's a mill. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to say goodbye,
Bye.
Bye.
we shall see. you soon.